Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Kessel, and I am a community engagement specialist here at Church World Service. I'm joined with John and Karen here today, and I will let them go ahead and introduce themselves, just what walk they're with, and just anything that they'd like to share with you.
Go ahead.
Good morning, I'm John Schmidt.
Hi, I'm Karen Kelly Schmidt, and we're with the Erie County Presque Isle Crop Walk.
And that's in Ohio, right?
Pennsylvania.
No, Pennsylvania, Erie,
Pennsylvania. Okay, I'm
Right
glad
on
I
Lake
asked.
Erie. Okay, we have a tall ships exhibit going on this week with I think about 10 tall ships from all over the Great Lakes and other areas.
That's wonderful. That's really cool. So first, I just would like to start off and have you share how long you've been involved with Crop Hunger Walk and why it is that you choose crop.
Okay, we think it's been since 1981, which we're debating whether it's 41 or 42 years. But we had joined Westminster Presbyterian Church in Erie in 1980 when we got married. And our minister at that time, Jim McCormick, had brought crop to Erie in 1979. So that first year that we were married, we didn't do it, but the second year we started walking. And we've been coordinators since 2016. So this is our 7th year.
Wow, that's wonderful.
And you want to talk about why we joined crop with Jim?
Is that here or is that later we talk about?
No, she asked, and why do we walk?
So the reason we joined the walk is really Jim McCormick.
Mhm.
Karen and I were both teachers, and we were at a McDowell Baccalaureate service, and he was the speaker, and we both felt like he was talking directly to us, and he was saying, "You better get back to church." We had both drifted away in our high school and college years, and so that was the motivation to get back to church. We went there because of him, and then he's promoting this thing called the Crop Walk, so he said to do it, so we did it, and we've been doing it ever since.
Yeah.
Even though he's long now retired from being our pastor.
Sounds like he really connected with you both and your passions and getting you involved back in the church and back in ministry and some mission work as well. That's wonderful.
Yep, he lit a fire.
Yep, planting the seed.
That's a good way to say it. Tell me about your walk and the team that you lead.
Okay, John.
We're part of the Erie County Crop Hunger Walk. That's Erie, Pennsylvania. And our church is Church of the Cross, which is a Presbyterian church. And our numbers have really fallen in recent years. We used to have a very big congregation, and we're down now to, on most Sundays, we probably have about 50 or so people, although we still have people that are worshiping online virtually. So we got a smaller congregation. The Erie County Walk last year raised $61,524.
Wow.
Which was the most in Pennsylvania, and that ranked us number 11 in the USA. And I know we're not in this for competition, but that's something that our church kind of takes pride in, the fact that we're part of this small little community, and yet we get amazing results. The year before we were actually number 12, so we moved up one position.
That's awesome.
And in our church, again, small Presbyterian church, we raised the most money out of any church in Erie County last year. We raised, where did I write that down? $11,830.
Wow.
Which is the most that we've raised as team captains. And we did that with only 27 walkers, which is kind of crazy. So we've got a very mission-minded church, and we've got people that just year after year get involved as walkers and as sponsors, and that just keeps the thing rolling.
Sounds like your passion kind of trickles throughout your congregation, and that you have some great support and people that are really willing to help out and support you both in the work that you're doing with crop.
Absolutely. And it's not about us. It's about doing what Jesus commands us to do, which is feed the hungry.
Absolutely.
We have a mission of the month. So every month throughout the year, we have a different mission. So this is our one for September.
That's great. What is something that you wish you knew when you started as a team captain that you might now know?
I would say at first we were really nervous about doing it and getting up and speaking. even though we speak in a classroom, getting up in front of your congregation, it's different. So we're always very, very nervous about doing that, but we've learned to relax and to trust that God is in control, and he's got this, so we can do what he wishes us to do to help feed the hungry. He sometimes helps us along when we're praying for what to say and how to say it. And then we usually give a couple of talks, at least one before the walk and one like a celebratory update talk at the end. So I'm sure he works through us.
Absolutely. Do you have any resources that you really are your go-to resources, and why those ones? Why do you pick those ones?
All right, I made a whole list. We use the signs that Crop provides for outside of our building. We hang the posters inside. We also hang one on our pastor's podium. We don't even ask them, we just hang it up there. We use the church newsletter, the weekly bulletin, and during the services, they have like overhead slides with information on it. We also use the goal barometer that you guys have given us, this little guy. And we don't know what people are raising as they go through. There's no way for us to calculate that. So what we do is I add a couple extra lines in here, just draw them in, and put the names of the walkers on here and hang this. So anybody that comes in or out of the building will see who's walking. That also serves two purposes. One, it encourages people to see who's walking, so maybe that they would like to walk with them. And also, when their name is up there, too, it gives people that are in the congregation that aren't walking an idea of who maybe if they can't walk, who they'd like to sponsor. So it serves two purposes. Let's see, what are some of the other things we do? Let's see, I have a list here. We try to make it fun. John, do you want to explain the Red Sneaker Award?
I think that's the next one.
Oh, is that the next one?
Yeah. We tried to organize what we're going to say.
Oh, you're right. You're right. That's the next one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
My
That's
notes
okay.
on my paper.
We
That's okay.
rely a lot on our local crop board for information. We have a crop coordinators day in August. We do crop T-shirts.
Yep.
These are local T-shirts that actually it's one of our church members, Mary Jane Dillon, is on the crop board. She designs them every year, and they sell for $10. And so just an option for people to buy a shirt. And then on the back, it's got the name of your church. So it's kind of cool to see a lot of people wearing the shirts.
Our crop organizers too, when they distribute the materials, there's one woman that always makes these little miniature feet-shaped cookies, like ginger snaps. And it's like always something I look forward to, you know what I mean? So that's kind of like a nice quirky thing. You could actually do that for people that are sponsors or walkers, in your organization, if somebody's like a baker.
That's so clever. I love that she does that.
Yeah, every year she does it. Yeah. And they're really good.
That's a bonus, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, on to that next one. What are your best tips for team building, recruitment, and fundraising?
Okay. We have, the advantage because of our history with the minister that brought it to Erie and got people involved in our congregation years and years ago. And they kind of committed to either being sponsors or walkers way back then. So we have kind of a core group. Although, many of those people, are have moved away or,
Or passed
away. So we have that history, and it's kind of like an important part of our church history. So that's one thing that we have just naturally going for us. So we have, years that members that participate year after year. We try to make it fun, and John's going to explain the Red Sneaker, this wonderful little sneaker that he used to wear in the 1970s.
Back in the day.
That's awesome.
And it just says on it,
Real vintage.
COTC, which is Church of the Cross #1 crop. And go ahead and explain that, how that works.
So what we decided to do, I think it was our first year, we said, let's do an incentive to try to get people to compete to raise the most money. Just kind of a silly thing, but we said whoever raised the most money would get the prestigious Red Sneaker Award. And then when we do the update after the walk, when all the money's been collected and counted, the person who's raised the most, or the couple or family, they get the sneaker for the year to put on display on their mantle. And we've had some very fierce competitions.
For this silly sneaker,
Yeah,
I
for
know,
the
it's
silly sneaker.
crazy.
And we've
I
had,
love it.
we had one year where two people tied for the most money.
So they had to kind of
Yeah.
share it, yeah,
But
halfway through the year.
The last 2 years, a couple from our church, Jim and Sue Warren, have been the winners. So we'll be curious to see whether they can get the three-peat and get the sneaker again this year. But it's just a fun thing to do.
Yeah, we try
It
to
is
make it
fun.
fun. We try to make it fun. I mean, it's for a good cause, but we try to, keep people motivated and make it exciting and fun for them. We start promoting in early August. We have a save the date in the newsletter. 6 weeks before, we try to get out the registration packets to people. T-shirts orders, are placed then, the money doesn't have to be turned in until the t-shirts come in. We set up a table outside of the worship area, and it's kind of one of those tall, like almost like a cocktail style table. And we kind of stand there. So when people come in, we ask, hey, are you interested in walking again and the crop walk this year? Or if you can't walk, would you, be interested in sponsoring somebody? And as people come in, sign up, I mean, and then when they leave, we stand at the end, and are there, we don't pressure anybody, but we ask, I mean, unless you ask, you're never gonna know whether people are interested or not. And it makes them feel included. If you personally ask people, are you interested? We give a talk prior to the walk. It's motivational fun. We do that mission. A minute for mission is part of our church mission of the month, which I mentioned. The crop talk is about 5 minutes. We usually just read our script. John usually designs it, and then I kind of fine tune it. We contribute ideas both ways. And we try to get the congregation involved using crowd response, clapping, celebratory cheers. We also recognize, walkers from past years and sponsors from past years, and also current people that are signed up for walking and sponsoring. And last year's theme was the cream of the crop. And we do silly things like, like the cheer, ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. We changed it, ice cream, you scream, we are the cream. And then at the end of the service, we gave them I don't know if you're familiar with the cowtail treats. They have their kind of cream filled or a sweet treat, and it's just fun, you know what I mean? And, they kind of like makes them smile, and, church is always sometimes so serious. So I think they kind of look forward to us when we get up and we give it like a little blurb, for what we're doing. And afterwards, we also do, the update and the celebratory and all of that. So, keeps them informed. We also this year, do you want to talk about the handout that we gave out that is printed on both sides?
For the directions,
Yeah. Is that coming up next?
the direction sheet, are you talking about the list of
The
sponsors?
sponsors and
Okay.
where the money goes
Yeah.
and
So-
for the Ukraine
So
handout that they gave us.
We like to focus on the fact that 25% of the money stays local in our community. So this year's the first time we've done it, but we made a handout that's got a list of the 21 agencies that receive money from crop.
Yeah, let me look.
And on the other side, there was some information we picked up from the crop board about how crop has been so helpful assisting people in Ukraine, and also because of the global food crisis, partly created from the lack of shipments out of the Ukraine. So
I don't know if that came nationally, it talks about where everything goes for Ukraine. And on the flip side of it, we put the 21 different agencies where the money goes to organizations in Erie County. So that's just something extra, for people. So they know, why are we raising this money? Where is it going? How is it going to help people, to make it a little bit more concrete.
Yeah. Sounds like you do a fantastic job of making it a really fun and personalized experience.
Mhm.
And I think it's really important, like you said, to share where those funds are going to, so people know that it's local and global. I think that handout that you did, that's fantastic. That's really clever. I like
Yeah,
that.
over the years, I don't know how much we've raised in Erie County. It's been millions.
it's a
Yeah.
ton, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot, and which has really helped our area. And making it fun, like for years, when our congregation was bigger, families would do this. And then their kids, when they grew up, they would do it. Like our youngest daughter is 28, and she did it for 20 consecutive years.
Until she went to college.
Until she couldn't, until she had conflicts and she couldn't walk on that date. But, a lot of families, it becomes kind of a tradition type of thing. that we walk together as a group. And even though it was hard with COVID,
We did virtual walks.
we did
Yeah.
virtual walks. Yeah. So, and people would walk sometimes in their neighborhood. I mean, wherever they could walk at that time, because it wasn't, safe to get together with crowds. And, we usually have a pretty big crowd when we did our walk here. And it wasn't just our church. It was, all these different organizations in Erie County. And plus we walk at the beach, which is even better. It's all like a paved roadway, but it's goes out the lakeside, and then you cross over and then you come back the bayside. So, it's just a beautiful place to walk. As far as, some places, people may have to walk in the city and, exhaust from cars, and, here you're, it's exercise and you're with nature and you're with nice people that all have, the same mission.
Yeah, that sounds like an awesome walk. I think walk location, like you said, making it a more nature-based or something that's more, the walk itself being fun really pulls people in as well. Next, I want to ask how you promote online fundraising specifically.
All right, you want me to do this one again?
Mhm.
All right. The Facebook fundraiser, we did it last year online, and I did really good. And I was shocked. I raised $1,500. The year before that I did it, I only raised $235. And I've had it on, I think, one day so far, and I've raised $405 just in one day. We also give a handout with directions for the people that are walking for us to register to be part of our team.
Online team.
And we also give them directions on how to set up their own Facebook fundraiser account. That's always been kind of a thorn in my side, because the directions sometimes that we received in the past weren't very good, but last year was better. But this year, again, I'm having a hard time, because when I go to invite people, it only, say I have 400 friends. It only lets me, like the first time I registered, to invite 95 friends. And then I tried it another day and they let me invite 125 more. But why don't they have a button that just lets me click and invite all of my friends at one time? So I don't have to go in every day and check and see, oh, can I invite more friends? So I don't know.
That would be nice.
Yeah, if there's a difference why Facebook is doing this, because they run that part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether they're monitoring it and they're, trying to be sure everything's legit. I'm not sure whether it is, but it's a little bit frustrating, because I'm thinking, I still don't have everybody I'm friends with invited. I don't want somebody to feel bad that they were invited and that person didn't get invited. And why is this I don't know. So that's one of the things that's kind of a little bit rough with that. But can you think of anything else with them?
I think we've kind of transitioned as a church more and more to some online.
Right. Yeah.
And, before we were always, checks and cash. And so I think it's a slow transition. We have a definitely an older congregation. So it just takes a while to get people comfortable with things, especially us.
It's so easy though. I mean, all you do is click a button for people that want to sponsor, and it just, comes out of their credit card, and it's really, really easy. I mean, I think it's easier than verbally asking people, you know what I mean? Because that's always uncomfortable sometimes, like they may say yes, they may say no. I mean, we'll say, whatever you decide, we understand, there's plenty of great organizations. You can't donate to everybody, so, if they don't, but sometimes you feel like, oh, they you don't want to feel bad, you know what I mean? Type of thing.
Yeah.
I always worry, like when I put something on Facebook, is anybody going to sponsor me? Because sometimes you'll see people with fundraisers and nobody donates anything, and then you'll see some people. It just depends on what people are plugged into, what other organizations they donate. So you can't take it personally if they don't sponsor you. I think people need to know that, and don't feel bad, because I said, oh, I feel like I'm pressuring people. I don't want to do that. But it's their choice whether they want to or not. And I'm not going to think any more or less of them, if they do or they don't, it's totally their decision.
I think you're giving them an opportunity to help. And if
Yeah.
they want to, that's great. And if they don't, that's fine too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great way to look at it.
Mhm.
Do you have a specific success story that you'd like to share on encouraging a team member in their fundraising?
I do. I'd like to talk about a former student of mine at McDowell High School. His name was Angel Mora. And he had moved to Erie, Pennsylvania from Columbia with his dad and brother. His mom had passed away. I forget whether she passed back in Columbia or shortly after they arrived in Erie. But I had Angel both in the student council and also in my psychology class. And he was a neat kid. And for years, Karen and I had promoted the crop walk with our students, encouraging them to participate. And as kind of a little carrot to get them to participate, we would give awards based on the amount of money raised. So I used to give, like, for $10, you got a gummy worm. For $25, you got 5 bonus points. $50, you got chocolate chip cookies, more bonus points, donuts, just the more money you raise, the more of the incentives you received. And I always explained it, the incentives are great, but really it's about helping people that need help with the hunger problem. So anyways, as I would always explain this early in the year prior to the walk, I would then say to students, you're encouraged to participate. Here's how much money we raised last year as a school. And here are some of the top walkers last year. And then I would always mention whoever had raised the most money in the whole history of McDowell students walking. So this kid, Angel, I challenged him. I said, the most money ever raised is $450. And he said, I'm going to beat that record. And it came from a family that didn't have a whole lot of resources. So I said, do the best you can. And he would regularly check in with me, and that number was growing and growing and growing. He raised $911.
That was before
Wow.
social media too. That was,
wasn't
it? No?
Social
Okay.
media was out there, but not the way it is today.
No,
But
yeah.
most of his donations were like, kids in the hall, I'll give you $1, I'll give you $2. There were small little, he didn't have any big donations. Where in the past, sometimes students would have a parent write a check for $100 or $200, but this kid just was determined to get that goal, which was pretty cool. And
That's
from
awesome.
1982 to 2019, that was the last crop walk before I retired. McDowell and Westlake students raised over $88,000. Which is
Wow.
pretty amazing. And so there's really a group out there that I think could be tapped in more. And it worked for us because we were so passionate about the crop walk, and we shared that with students. And again, we gave them an opportunity to participate, and they could decide whether they wanted to. And kids would say, well, I can't do that because I've got to work on Sunday. I would always tell them, it's great if you can go do the walk, but the walk is really a symbolic effort. And what really counts and helps people is the money. So you can raise money and not do the walk. Tell them your psychology teacher is going to be your stand-in,
Your
walker.
representative.
Yeah. And the goal
Yeah.
is the money, and you get the same incentives of the cookies and the donuts and the bonus points and the homework passes just for raising the money. So we had a lot of fun with that.
Wonderful.
And once we were both retired from teaching, that kind of took away from our total, because we used to put the school totals in with Church of the Cross,
Yeah.
which helped to bump our number up.
Yeah. That sounds like you were really, your passion is something that really relayed to your students and got them involved. And you're, the one student specifically that you talked about, Angel, it sounds like that was the case there as well. That's great. Do you use social media at all for your walk? And if so, how do you use that? You talked a little bit about the Facebook fundraiser for you as a walker, but do you use social media at all?
Yeah, I mean, he does not. He's Facebookless John. I use it because, our kids, when they got to be in their 20s and they were going here and there and live in different places, that was a way for me to connect, with them. And so I use Facebook and I use Instagram, but I don't use Snapchat or Twitter, but the kids do. So younger people do use it, but I only use it just on Facebook.
Okay.
I know how to text message now, so.
At first, he did not have a phone. He had a flip phone till recently. And we said, just see the pictures of the grandkids. You really need to get a phone.
There you go. There's the motivator.
Yeah.
Funny. And lastly here, what advice or words of wisdom do you have to share with other team captains?
I think what we would tell team captains is that what you do does make a huge, huge difference. Your enthusiasm, your passion for the mission to feed the hungry, that's going to inspire other people to get involved. And I would just say we really appreciate everything that CROP does, everything that team captains do to be the hands and the feet of Christ, which is what we're doing here on this earth.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both for your tremendous work for Crop Hunger Walk. And I can tell that it's something that you're both passionate about, and how great that you both get to work on this together as a couple and support something that is really important to you both. So we at Church World Service are very grateful for you and grateful for you taking the time to share with everyone here today.
Absolutely.
Sure,
We're
absolutely.
grateful for you.
Yep.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for giving us the opportunity to do this.
Absolutely. Well, I am going to go ahead and stop the recording at this